Hi guys, welcome back to Over Easy Acres. Today is one of those days that's just kind of hard about the farming process. We took our chickens in last night to be processed, and today I'm going to pick them up. The nice part is that we take them to a business that just takes them live and processes them, plucks out all the feathers and cleans them up and returns them frozen in the bags. And I've been asked many times in real life, like, how can you do this? How can you raise an animal and then go have it processed? And the thing is, it's hard. I have to keep in mind that I know how it was raised. I know that it was humanely raised. I know what it was eating the whole time. So I know that all the stuff that goes into my chicken is the same thing that's going into my body. As I've mentioned before, we have some corn intolerances in our family. I'm one of those people, and so I don't want any corn feed in I don't want any corn in the feed that I feed them, because that comes out in the eggs and in the meat. So I can be really happy about that part. I'll get right back with you because I have to drive. Okay, I'm here about to run in, but like I was saying, I can be really happy about what's in there. I know how they were raised, and so that part makes me feel better about the whole thing, right? This is the first time that we've ever just hatched our own chickens from meat birds. Normally we buy the Cornish cross or the Cornish rock broilers online, and then they're shipped to us through the post office, and we get the chicks that way. They raise out in about 10 weeks, and then you can have them processed, and they have a lot of meat. They're really good, they grow fast, and then it's over with. They're also sterile when you get them, and their life is pretty much terminal because they're not raised to reproduce. They put on weight way too fast for their bones. So it makes it easier, I guess, in a sense, to take them in and have them slaughtered, because you know that they couldn't have lived much longer anyway. Sometimes we've tried to keep them to 12 weeks and they start going lame and they have heart problems and stuff. So you just know that, by the time you get them as cute little chicks, they're not going to be cute in a few weeks. They get really ugly, actually. They're not a pleasant bird. It's not as hard to take them in just because you know that they had an ending coming anyway. This time I have to say it was a little harder because we did raise them up as chicks, and I always knew, don't get attached to these birds because they are your meat birds. The difference is that you can also keep them as dual purpose for layers, and they're just beautiful birds. I mean, they grow large. It took them about 5 months to grow to this size now. They're just starting to lay. So the whole process was a little bit harder in that you knew that their life wasn't terminal. They could have kept on living. The only difference though was that we did have 8 roosters out of the 14. 8 of them are roosters. 3 of the hens we kept to continue the cycle to become layers for future meat birds that I actually just put in the incubator their eggs yesterday. So hopefully we can start raising up another batch. But yeah, they were big, beautiful birds that looked really nice, and you knew that they could have been continuing to live on our farm. However, I also know that that is just how it goes if you're going to eat meat. And I never want to lie to myself and say, oh, I can eat the meat that's in the store, but I can't eat the meat that's on my farm. I mean, if you're going to eat meat, you're going to eat meat, and someone did this. And I just really appreciate that I know that they were humanely raised. I know that this place that processes them does it in a humane manner. So that part I feel very comfortable about. I am not to the point yet of doing it myself. I don't know that I'll ever be to that point. I am certainly glad that there are places like this for people like me who don't want to be part of the end of life process, but I'm also not fooling myself that someone has to do it. It also makes me very, very thankful for the meat that we eat. We do not waste it. We don't waste one little tiny bit. If we can't get the meat off of the bone, I boil the bones and make bone broth out of it. So every little part, down to the collagen in the bones, is used by our family, and it makes us just so appreciative of knowing that the work that we've put into it, that the bird gave its life, just the whole process. I'm so appreciative that we're able to do it and that this is possible for us. So on that note, I'm going to run inside, pay the bill, and then get the birds. Okay, I just paid. I didn't want to film in there because it's just a small private little place. And then she brought me the birds. Now you can see they are much smaller than the Cornish cross that we've raised in the past. So again, we'll have to see how the meat is. This one is a little larger, but they already come frozen, so that part is nice. I'm really hoping that the meat tastes great because this is more self-sustainable for us. We can just keep the process going. Sometimes with this type of meat though, it's a little gamier tasting. We did have a rooster back a long time ago, processed. Man, was he mean, and so I was not sad to see him go. But he was a skinny little guy when all was said and done, and he did taste a little different. So I don't know, I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. Today's Wednesday, so maybe on Saturday I'll give it a go for a little soup. My broth is out of stock in the freezer, so I've been waiting for the bones for that. So I think that we'll just make Saturday into our baking soup day. Maybe make our first pie of the season too to go along with it. So I don't know. Anyway, okay, I gotta get going to my next stop, but I will join you back at home, so don't go anywhere. All right, well, here's our chickens in here. Here's all the zucchini, some of the shredded, more zucchini. Just kind of stashed them in. We also buy a grass-fed cow every, I don't know how many months. We go through it pretty quickly. We eat a lot of beef, so at least now we have some chicken with it. And here is our frozen salmon fillets, because we always have salmon on Fridays, and so they come. We buy these through Azure Standard. I can link that down there, but it's really great. I used to get it from Costco, and I can't say the difference of this stuff is amazing. Doesn't have that fishy taste. So anyway, now we have our salmon, our beef, and chicken. Okay, well, just to take you full circle, here's the incubator that we have set up. I think we only have 15 eggs in it this time. Last time I did, I think, all 22, and we got a really great hatch rate of 15 eggs. This time I only put in 15, so I'm hoping that I either get like 7 or 8. Usually it's about 50%. So anyway, here they are. This incubator has served us well many times. And let's see, they'll be done on the 9th. So you can just hit this little button. 20 days left. I don't know why I think the LEDs make it jump. The numbers don't really jump, but yeah, wishing you luck, little eggs. Okay, well, it's a little bit later. I put my hair up and I'm in my happy place, my garden. I've shared it so many times before. It just gives me endless amounts of happiness. I was never even a gardener. I never even cared about it growing up. Kind of always just lived under the impression that I could never grow anything. I don't know why, just thought that was the case. Like, regular people didn't actually grow food. And then I don't know, it was like 10 years ago that we went on a trip. We went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. If you haven't been there, you absolutely need to go. It's my favorite place in the world. A lot of other people would agree because there's a lot of tourists, but it's just beautiful. And I realized I need a slower way of living. I felt like I was just running in the rat race, even as basically a stay-at-home mom with, you know, a couple things on the side, but I just felt like I wasn't doing something super meaningful in my life that was grounding. I was just running from activity to activity, and I thought, man, I've got to stop this. And so the first thing that we did was get chickens, and we had been talking about it. I'm a planner, so I just love to plan, love to research things, and sometimes I just jump right into stuff, but I kind of wanted to read about it, and getting chickens seemed like a big deal. Well, I had just returned from an outing I had done, and my husband said, hey, come in the kitchen. I was like, okay. So I go in the kitchen, and there he's standing holding a bucket of 4 chicks. And I was like, what in the world are you doing? We can't have chickens in our house. We can't have chickens. Like, I'm not ready for chickens. And he said, well, you've been looking at them and researching them for a long time. Like, at some point you just have to do it. But I felt like it was way too serious of a thing. And so, but there I was standing there with 4 chickens. But the next day turned into 6 chickens because I felt like I needed 2 more if I was going to do this. And then before long, we ended up with the chicken math syndrome and ended up with lots of chickens. And then impulsively at the store, I saw that there was a sale for meat bird chickens, and if I got some, I got like free food with it or something. And my mom had already kind of mentioned like, you had to be raising meat birds, but somehow that was overwhelming to me, and that just seemed like an impossibility. But there I found myself all of a sudden asking for, I'll take 25 meat birds, please. And so anyway, the dream was born, and I've never looked back. I've never wanted to look back. I absolutely love it. So I'm in my garden. It's my happy place. My chickens are my other happy place. And anyway, I just hope that if you're on the fence about doing this, don't be like I was in research just until the end of your life. Like, just get your hands dirty, just get in and do it. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. We had chicken deaths, we had chicken loss. I've had garden death and garden loss. Not all of my stuff has turned out. Even this year, as well as it's been doing, not all of my stuff has turned out. But I will say, just get in, start learning it, because you will be ahead of where you are right now as soon as you do it. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.